are
Right.
racist, and that's my opinion,
Yeah.
Joyce. But
Yep.
that's what people are trying to say. They got their own opinion,
Mm-hmm.
and
Of course.
I just don't mention any names, but I walk away from those
Yeah.
racist people because you know what?
Yeah.
My culture, yes, I'm Puerto Rican, but my mom was black Puerto Rican. My dad was a white man. So my whole family, we're all, different cultures and stuff like that.
Right.
And I'm married to a black guy. So if someone says that, I tend to walk away. To me, I take offense to some shit they say. So even if you even talk about it and what they said, yes, it's racist. Do I give them a chance to
Yeah.
correct themselves? Yeah, you can correct yourself. I'll give you a chance. I'll forgive you. But if you're constantly saying the same
Right.
shit or saying a different dialogue,
Yeah.
hell no, you're just showing me what you
Exactly.
are.
I have
Mm-hmm.
a
But with that bougie
question.
shit,
How did she
yeah,
say
bougie
it?
is fucking racist. I don't give a fuck. Sorry, Leslie,
No, you're fine.
because you know what I went through on that one. So,
What's going
but
on
I
down
love
here,
you,
though?
Leslie.
I
I'm
love you,
gonna go down,
baby.
okay, hon? I'll be
Okay, baby.
listening.
Have a good day, Latina.
Thank you too.
Leslie, I couldn't find the name that you said.
Hold on a second. Just a reminder, we're here because you guys brought this stuff up. We brought what up? What's your name? Shady. What are you talking about? Absolutely agree, KT. Absolutely. And see, people think that they are holding me accountable, but I went live on my own before even the internet knew about it, the app knew about it, and held myself accountable. And it's been over a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's been over a year, and I didn't call anyone that name. That's not a name I would ever call you now. Why I call you a bitch? Yep. Why I call you see you next Tuesday? Well, I have on occasion.
Right.
But the N words, they're not words in my vocabulary. We were talking about it one night in a Discord. And if you feel that you need to call me out on it, I'm here for it. I did it. I did it. But I can only speak for myself. I can only speak for what I see with my heart.
Oh goodness. Leslie needs to be there needs to be a moratorium on calling out people for
Oh,
things that other people interpreted differently than what it was intended.
So shady, see, that's where you're wrong. That's where you're wrong. She was mad at Megan for saying for she said because she lied on Skittles. It wasn't anything to do with the race
yeah.
card. You're making it about
It was
race, and that's
nothing
not what it was
racist.
about. So you're part of the problem because that's not what it was about.
And there's always two sides, you know. What
You know what, Imperfect
why do
Survivor? Why are you here? Like, you clearly have a problem.
They have a voice
Go
too,
tell
Joyce. It's
Megan yourself how you feel about her.
Joyce, it's fine, really. They have a voice, but the problem was, and Cassandra, I wish Cassandra would come back up here and tell you, she left the box because she didn't like that I didn't want Megan spoke about like that. And but she wasn't mad because of anything Megan had said. She was mad because Megan had supposedly lied on Skittles.
Exactly.
So that's weird behavior
It
right
had
there. That's
nothing to
that's
do with
weird.
it.
I mean, if you're gonna call it out for what it is.
Good morning. Yes, please.
Oh my goodness.
And if you have a problem with Megan, then go in Megan's live or come up here when Megan's here.
Yes.
The same as if you have a problem with me. Don't go to
Thank
somebody
you.
else's live, come
Ooh,
to me.
thanks. Have a good day, ladies.
I'll say it again, and I'm going to say it
Let's
very
get Miss
proudly.
Marcy.
I do not think Megan is racist. I don't live in Megan's
Nope.
heart. I don't live in Megan's home. I don't live in Megan's eyes. I don't know 100% one way or the other. No, you should speak up. That's what I just said. You're entitled to a voice. Hold on, let me see.
I
Put
can
that
invite her
entitled to a
here
voice thing
if they want
goes
to have a
both ways,
conversation.
Leslie.
Absolutely, Loopy.
Oh, I will gladly have a conversation. So, you were 100% talking about how Megan was racist with Cassandra. I was right here listening to you do it. So, I don't want to sit here and be
Yeah.
gaslit the entire time. And what you guys did to Cassandra is extremely wrong. And I'm not even friends with Cassandra. And I think what you guys just did to Cassandra was wrong. She doesn't drop because she's happy and okay with what conversation just happened. She drops when she's pissed. And for you guys to sit here and disrespect a person of color who is offended by something a
What?
white person said
Are you?
is
What are you
wrong.
talking about?
We sat
What?
here. We sat here and watched you guys straight up say that Megan wasn't racist when Cassandra
What?
was sitting
I
here
never
saying, yeah,
said
she said
Megan
all
was a
this
I didn't
stuff.
say
racist.
Megan was racist.
That's not what happened.
Never.
What are you talking about?
Right?
I'll let Imperfect have the floor.
It's
When did you
okay.
hear
Go
me
spin
say
some
up here
fucking
Megan
false
was
narrative
racist?
somewhere else. This fucking bullshit.
No, yeah, no. We never said she was a racist at all. She
Megan's one
is
of my good
not.
friends, as if I'd fucking call her that. People are
Anyway,
fucking
I
weird.
want to clarify that I was speaking to the person in the comments telling me that I don't have a right to stand up for like people that I care about because I'm not black. Like that's ridiculous. Just
What?
because I'm
That
white
doesn't
doesn't
make
mean that I
sense.
can't speak up for racism in any situation, in any regard. Take Megan out of the equation. I don't even care about that.
Also,
Friends,
I'm
because I'm
guessing
not
you
black.
guys. I'm guessing you guys are forgetting that. I'm guessing you guys are forgetting that Megan said a lot of things that were microaggressions towards people of color.
Well, I think you forgot that you come up here and just told a blatant lie.
And you know what? It's
Joyce, I
called
got
they
this. I
don't.
got this, Joyce. I got it.
Okay.
You just came up here and said a blatant lie that we up here said Megan was racist.
I didn't say you were saying she was not racist. That's what I was saying.
That's not what you just
That
said.
is what I
Yeah, that's
just
not what
said.
you
Oh my
said.
That is
god.
not what you just said.
I said you were
Who the
sitting up
fuck
here
is
arguing
this
because
even?
Cassandra was saying she was racist. Don't gaslight me. Trust me.
Baby, I can pull the live. That's not what you just said.
Well, maybe they accidentally said the wrong thing. I don't know. And here
There,
for it, I understand what you're saying, but you don't speak for a whole community and yourself. Like, I get what you're saying. I'm not, but just because that doesn't offend you doesn't mean that doesn't offend my friends. I have to speak up for my friends because obviously they can't speak up for themselves. So, because when they try, then, whatever. But, I don't understand why you're telling me like how you're angry with me because I'm speaking up against racism as a black person. Like I don't understand that. How are you angry with me? Like I would think you would be
Who's angry with you?
this here for it in the
Can
comments
I?
telling me that I don't have the right to speak against it
Oh,
because
okay.
I'm white.
I thought you were
Like that makes
talking to
no
us
sense.
up here.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
That's why I came up here because they're telling me
That's
that
why
I
I was
don't have
like,
the
what?
right to speak up against it. Like what?
Oh, you have every right to speak. Yeah.
Just because I'm not black doesn't mean I can't speak against racism. Like that's ridiculous.
so Shady, again, you came up here and your exact words were, we were calling Megan a racist.
Here for it, actually, yeah, they did. Yeah, actually, they did.
So that was incorrect information that you put out on the app in this panel today. Cassandra has a right to have a voice. I simply said, Megan's not here. Let's not speak on her. In my heart, I don't feel like she is a racist. And I didn't know Cassandra was a person of color. Why are we all saying that down here I mean, I don't care what color she is. I like Cassandra.
Me
And
too.
I never even knew what color her skin was.
Well, we all have our own opinions. That's part of being human. But I mean, I'm not trying to come for anybody in here. I'm just like kind of confused on why I'm getting my ass beat out for standing up for
Also,
people's rights.
I think our Megan said what I kind of wanted to say.
What? Let me look and see what she said. People in the
It's
comments are
above.
coming for her.
Yeah.
It's above the person that says please stay. I get my words mixed up sometimes.
Yeah, Shady probably honestly said it backwards because we were having a discussion prior to us both coming up, and they specifically said that you said she wasn't, and that no, that she was. So if they did say was, that was probably an accident.
But the issue with Cassandra, and Cassandra, I wish you would come back in the box. The issue with Cassandra is she was calling her, Cassandra's as white as they come. And y'all down here trying to say that we come against a person of color. Y'all are weird as fuck.
No, I didn't say that.
Y'all are weird as
Leslie,
fuck. Her problem with Megan,
Cassandra's Latino, I believe.
and she just said she's white AF.
Leslie, may I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Cassandra's Latino.
I
Andrew just said in
Hi,
the comments
Tony.
what she is. So I mean, I don't know how like we can argue against it. I mean, are you gonna tell Cassandra what she is? She just said she's not. Like, how are you gonna argue with somebody about their ethnicity? She literally just said that she's not.
So y'all, some of y'all trying to say we came after a person of color because she was speaking up against a racist. That is false behavior. What happened was she can be mad at Megan for whatever it is, but let Megan be here when she's calling her racist and stuff. That's all that was said. That's all that was said. And some of you guys are trying to make it into something that it wasn't. Cassandra knows that she's welcome on my panel at any time. Cassandra gonna cuss me, I'm gonna cuss her, she gonna be my hoe, I'm gonna be her hoe. But I would never let anybody disrespect her the same as I don't want somebody to disrespect Megan. So y'all trying to come up with something to make it something that it's not is very weird behavior.
Well, fortunately, that's the joys of being human is that you can feel one way and I can feel another, and we don't have to like yell and cuss and scream at each other because we feel differently. That's a good thing we have our own train of thought and mind and think how we want. And I'm not going to come for somebody because they think different than I do.
Exactly, Desi.
Whatever.
Exactly.
But what I am going to come for is somebody in the comments telling me that I need to shut my mouth and not speak up for people that I love and care about, because that's ridiculous. That's why I was getting angry in the comments, not towards you guys. I don't care. You feel one way, I feel another. It is what it is. But
TikTok's acting up because I got dropped.
Not that, Shannon. Honey, I'm not yelling at you. I just want to make that clear. I have very bad vision issues. Everybody pretty much knows I always talk in caps because I had a seizure that took most of my eyesight.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't
So I'm
know.
not yelling at you.
Okay, I didn't know.
No, that's
I don't
okay.
know
I'm just
you.
telling you.
I know,
Honey,
but I don't know you. And when it's all caps, that's
no, I'm not yelling at you. That's all I wanted to say.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
SJ. SJ.
Yes.
okay.
Can you
And
yell
Yes.
at, can you yell
then
at
you
me?
said to me, but you said to me that she said she was YT, and I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
SJ, yell at
You
me.
no.
I love
Honey,
your
you
I
said
love your voice.
Thank you. Honey, you kept saying Cassandra was Latino.
I
And I
did
was trying
not.
to
That
tell
wasn't
you.
me.
Oh, well then my bad. Again, my vision is not great. So,
Okay, but it wasn't me. I don't know who was saying that, but it wasn't me.
okay.
So so Shady, you feel like that we did Cassandra dirty? Is that you feel like we did Cassandra dirty because I told her to let Megan be here before she spoke on her?
No, it was before that.
And what was it, honey?
It was when she was screaming, or she was saying that Megan's a racist bitch and it's not going to change your mind, which I totally agree with her on that. And then you were just saying, oh, she's not racist, and then Cassandra dropped. And that's what pissed me off because I thought she was mad.
I thought she
Because
was
I'm
upset
like,
too.
yeah, I was upset because Cassandra was getting upset because she's going through enough right now. Because we were hanging out in her live last night. She's going through enough right now. I want people to leave her alone.
Girl,
I'm going to
Cassandra knows
cry.
she is welcome here. She knows she can get up here and cuss me today, and tomorrow she's going to love me. Okay, so I'm sorry that you felt that way, and I truly hope that Cassandra didn't feel that way. And I see what you're coming from. I do see where you're coming from, but it was nothing about anything other than if you're going to talk on her, then let Megan be here.
Also,
It puts
Skittles,
us in a hard position when people that we sit with a lot argue between themselves. I've seen it. I've been in the middle of it. I've been part of the reason of it. And I hope that Cassandra didn't take that any other way, but that I am loyal and I'm also loyal to Cassandra. So if we're going to speak on one another, let each other be here.
Right, and
also,
I agree with that, but like at the same time, when someone else has a differing opinion than you, like it's okay to just be like, okay, well, you feel that way, I feel this way. Like I personally did not attack you personally for my thoughts about a person. I just was saying what I felt, right? So like I think the problem is that people can't just accept that we all think differently. We just automatically want to get angry and like yell at someone because
Hey,
they
Grandma M.
do, and that's just not going to happen.
Well, and the
So
thing
it
about
has
it
to be
is, she wasn't mad, but she wasn't mad about any racist remarks or anything. She's mad about a supposed lie. That's just it. Y'all took it about, I say y'all because that's just how I talk. But people were upset because they felt like we weren't hearing her out about how she felt about racism, when in fact she was angry and she said that. I'm just mad at her because she lied on Skittles.
Who? Who we talking
Yeah,
That's what
when
Cassandra said.
about? Oh, okay.
it was a conversation after that, looking like being kind of like an outsider looking in, it looked differently. That's why it was, they come in and said something. It wasn't meant to blow up or anything. It just perception art the perception was different. Does that make sense?
Perception's always different on here,
Right. And
right?
if it was over racism, that's, come in and have a conversation about it. And that's what they did. It wasn't meant to
Hey, Dora.
be hateful or anything like that, right? So,
I just have never in my life thought that I'd see the day that people standing up for racism and equal rights would cause such division among people, like more than like, isn't that like the opposite of what it's supposed to do?
So, in Perfect Survivor, that's funny that you bring that up because when I speak against it, I'm told as a YT person, I have no right to say anything.
Well, exactly. That's what just happened to
And
me.
then I'm told as a YT person, I should be fighting just as hard alongside with everybody else. So it's confusing to me. I'm learning where my boundaries are, where my standards are, and I'm learning that I personally don't care what skin tone you have. I love you. Period.
Mm-hmm.
End of the day, that's where my heart is because I'm so sick of the hatred on this app. People are mad at people for being in one community and not the other community, having this skin color and not this skin color. Desi, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I see something, I say something, and then all of a sudden, as a YT person, I'm not supposed to say this.
So let me ask you a question. Let me put it into this perspective then.
Sure.
So say I'm at a gas station and there's a black child in there, and the cashier says, "You know what? No, I'm not gonna notice you because you're black." As a white person, am I supposed to be standing there and watch them degrade
No, girl,
and
I'd rock my orange
Absolutely
proudly.
not.
I'd
like
rock
am
my
I supposed
orange
to
Nope.
be standing there
proudly.
and watch that, or am I supposed to speak up and stand up for that cause? What am I supposed to
I'd
do?
rock my orange beautifully.
Okay, so why, like, how is that any different than what we're
I
doing?
agree. That's what I'm saying. I agree. I agree so very much with that.
I agree. We should educate each other.
I mean, if I'm not
um,
supposed to speak up, then that means that I have to just stand there and watch it happen, right? Because that's what you're saying. Not
That's
you,
what some
but
people
like
say. That's
in
what some
general. I
people
mean, if that
say.
you're saying I don't have the
right.
right to speak about it, then that means I have to stand there and watch a black child be treated like shit because of the color of their skin. No, that's not gonna happen. So
Oh no, I've already had it out with numerous people over that with my son and his school. One of his principals was extremely racist, and he would always treat my son differently, and I lost it. My husband got really mad. Then because he's a black man and raised his voice, they were threatening to call the police. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? What do
Wow,
you think he's gonna do to you? His
that's
voice is
sad.
raised because you're racist. Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, Desi.
Hi.
I'm
Can
sorry
I
they
just
had
say
to.
something?
Sure.
Sorry,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Esther.
Hi, Desi.
Hi, good morning. Is it morning? Yeah, it's still morning. Um, so I do know that there is a little bit of confusion, and I can't speak for everyone, but also, can you all hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. There are times where people of color feel a little bit uncomfortable when there are white people trying to educate others on like Black experiences or the experiences of people of color, but that has nothing to do with educating people on racism or speaking out against what's right. As long as you're well informed, as long as you know you've gotten your education from a reputable source and you're not spreading misinformation or kind of like hearsay or tribal knowledge, then that's fine. But I mean, I personally don't have a problem with people speaking out. We need that. Like allies are so important, and I think everyone who is an ally because we need more of you. But yeah, so like I said, see something, say something applies to everyone, and it always should.
I agree. And that's where I will be.
And
Period.
I'm glad that we could actually have this conversation and it not blow up to be like a screaming match or name calling and stuff like that. I think that was I think that's pretty awesome. You know
Well, I
what I
think
mean?
that SJ, it's a shame that it can't be done all over the app like that about all kinds of situations. That's the thing
Well, I
about
mean,
By
it.
the way, I'm the
I've
one that
been guilty of doing that too, and I don't do that very often, but I have, and I'm really working on that because
Me too.
again, this is better. This is
yeah,
a lot better.
I was the one that said Latina was or fuck Latina. Cassandra was Latino because I thought she said she was. So
Right.
and I
Yeah, I
know,
thought so
yeah,
too.
I see. Okay, good, because somebody in the comment was saying she's as white as they come or something like that, or but
No,
it was
Cassandra
said
me
that.
said
that
that
said that.
herself. Yeah.
Yeah, she said that
Oh,
herself.
she said that herself.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's just kind
Oh,
of wild to me that there are white women arguing over defending racism. Like that was not on my bingo card.
Yeah, that
But
was weird. That was a little weird. Okay,
hey Latina, I honor or fuck Latina. Why do I keep calling her that?
we're
Cassandra,
gonna
I didn't know that. I apologize.
That's
so,
why when she said no, I'm white, and you said no, she's
I
Latina.
swear to
I said,
God, I
how are
thought
you
she
going to
said she
argue
was
with?
Latina.
I said, how
I
are you going
didn't
to
know.
argue
I
with somebody
wasn't.
about their own ethnicity? Because you were like, no,
I,
she's Latina.
all right,
it
so
yeah,
was
we're
the
gonna all
well,
timing.
mute. We're gonna all mute and let Loopy speak.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you for having me up. To clarify, I am biracial, I'm half black. So I am speaking from the perspective of someone who is a person of color and unfortunately has to live life day to day as somebody who, um, I may not experience racism like every single day of my life, but I'm subject to it, um, as is half of my family. I think that some of this conversation has been some things have been misinterpreted and lost in translation. I think we're finding our way back to the center because it went left. Um, but I think there are some things that hopefully everyone can agree on. One, using slurs is never okay. And there have been people who have used slurs on here. They have been called out. Um, there are people who have apologized for that, and whether the people who are affected by that slur being used choose to accept an apology, that is entirely their decision. And if they choose not to, that should not be held against them, because it is incredibly hurtful to hear people use certain words. And it's just like sometimes these words be flying out of people's mouths so easy, and it cuts deep when you hear those things being used, those words and the history of them and everything that comes along with them. It's very, very hurtful. And sometimes I feel like just generally on the app, there's sort of an attitude of like, get over it already. And when we are still facing racist behavior to this day, and some of us have to live our lives wondering like what someone might say to us, or they might treat us differently, or we might get discriminated against at our jobs, that's not something that you just get over. And on the ally part of it, this is just my opinion. I know some other people feel differently, but it's incredibly important to have allies and people who are willing to speak up and speak out, because to be honest with you, it is exhausting sometimes as a person of color to always have to be the person to stand up and say something and then not be taken seriously by people. That's really, really frustrating. And sometimes people will say things like, it always becomes a racial thing. It's always the race card. No, it's not. It's not always that. People have said problematic things on here, and those things need to be addressed. But for people of color and other people from other communities who are affected by, usage of slurs and behaviors that are discriminatory, it's really exhausting trying to educate people sometimes. And it's really helpful to have educated allies who are willing to step in and do that work. Now, if a person of color, a person from a marginalized community wants to put in that emotional labor, that is their decision. And I don't fault any person from a marginalized community who says, you know what, I'm good on that. People can educate themselves, and it's not my job to teach people how not to be an ignorant person. But if there are people who are willing to educate, that's their choice, and that's great. It's important to have those allies step in and really relieve us of some of that emotional labor sometimes. These conversations are really important, and I think when we're able to come together and have sincere conversations where we work some of this out, and come to a better understanding, and people can be educated or maybe walk away viewing something differently than they did before, everyone benefits from that. But no one can tell someone who is part of a marginalized community how they should feel about something, or whether they should accept an apology or anything like that. And I'm not saying this is not directed at anyone here specifically, I'm just speaking generally. And so I wish that more conversations about these things could happen on the app without it going totally left, because I think that often when people try to talk about these things, people will get very defensive and they automatically go into, I'm being attacked. And I think that it would be helpful if more people could view this from, there are people who are speaking out about their experience being discriminated against or, treated a certain type of way. And that is coming from not just a place of anger, but pain, because we've had to deal with this shit for our entire goddamn lives. And our parents have had to deal with it, our grandparents. This stuff, like I said, it cuts deep and it's hurtful. And so, just if people could try to listen more and not automatically get defensive, but really hear what we're trying to say, that's where the growth comes in. And so I think this went left here because people got real defensive. I think some things get lost in translation when you're trying to read comments, or maybe you didn't fully hear what someone said. But I think taking a step back and being able to have these conversations, and people can clarify what they're saying, where they're coming from. Like Imperfect came up here and she clarified where she was coming from. and then Cassandra being spoken on, like there was some clarity provided there. Now we're coming back to the center, and this is where we can have productive conversation. And I think that's what we should strive for when we talk about these things. Just generally, there needs to be more understanding. So I'm sorry for rambling, but this is just what's coming to my head as we discuss this. I don't think anybody in here um, was coming from a place of hate, or I think a lot of people are just trying to defend their friends. And um, some of you know certain people better than others, and so you see parts of them that others don't get to see, and that's going to lead your perception of them. Whereas other people haven't gotten to know them in that way, but they've heard something that was very problematic, and rightfully so, they are upset by that. And no one gets to tell them how to feel about being upset about it. But I appreciate when we can have conversations like this and try to make some progress. Um, and I would just say, like, really try not to come from a place of like automatically getting defensive, because what you're hearing is people are expressing their pain. And like, we constantly get dismissed when we try to have these conversations, like, just in life in general. Um, just try to remember, like, this is a very painful thing for a lot of people. And we all need to do better and learn more and listen to each other, listen to understand and not just respond. And that's where real progress can be made. So again, I'm sorry for rambling. Those are just my thoughts.
I don't think you rambled at all.
Well
Actually, I
said.
don't think that
Thank you.
I know how to follow up with that. I mean, I truly don't. Wow. And you were
I'm gonna
nervous,
drop.
Loopy?
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna drop. I'm not really feeling all that great. Well said, Loopy. Thank y'all for having
I hope you
me.
feel better, SJ.
Thank you, SJ.
Better, SJ.
Loopy,
It's a
you were nervous, and I mean, you just brought a whole room to silence. I mean, your words were wow.
it's not. I mean, sometimes I get nervous because I know that these conversations can go left so quickly, and then people interpret things in the wrong way, or
Right.
they think that you're speaking about someone specifically when really I'm just talking
Mm-hmm.
about
In
generally.
general.
Um,
Yeah.
like, I know Megan's been brought up. For a long time, I was like, I don't fuck with Megan because I've heard the clips. Uh, I hate what was said. I don't appreciate it. And one day I decided, you know what, I'm going to message Megan because I want to talk to her about this. And we had
Mm-hmm.
a brief exchange. And I'd like to finish that conversation with her because we didn't really get to finish it.
She
But I
would
was
be
like,
open to it, I'm sure.
yeah, I think she would too.
Yeah.
I understand that some people are like, I'm not going there with her. I don't want to. If something's bothering me and I need to address it, I'm just gonna go to the person and be like, yo, what was up with that?
That's the way it should be done. And people don't do that on here. And I think that if more people did that, there wouldn't be half the problems that there is on this app. Um, I went to Megan when this all happened last year with her and Shannon. And she knows that I'm married to a Nigerian man and I have a biracial son. And I told her I was extremely disappointed, and I told her she needed to educate herself on what the words that her and Shannon both were using about the chicken and just stupid shit like that, right? And well, it's not stupid. I shouldn't say it like that. Like stuff like that is what she was saying.
Hurtful.
And she said some other choice words, but she's never said the N word. Um, it was implied that she had said it, but she's never said it. If she had said it, there'd be video of it. You know that because people would be blasting that everywhere. Um, I think the double standards are completely ridiculous on this app, that some people are allowed to say certain words and other people aren't. I'm talking about YT women, not people of like other ethnicities. So I have a problem with that because if one person says it and it's swept under the rug or whatever, then they've said it again And again, it's fucking swept under the rug. What is wrong with people?
Well, the
But
thing
yet
about
they're
it,
going to come at Megan for something, one, her husband said, two, she has educated herself. Has anybody heard her in almost a year? It'll be maybe in October or November. Has anybody heard her say anything out of pocket since that last live with Shannon? Because
well,
I've not heard her.
and the thing about it is, though, here's the whole thing in a nutshell. Cassandra voiced her opinion on something. I said, let
Yeah.
her be here to talk about that. But
Yep.
the race wasn't even what she was mad about. The racial slurs,
Yeah, she was more
everything she
mad
said,
about
that's not
what
even what she
she
was
said
mad
to
about.
Skittles.
But people wanted to come
Yeah.
in and make it about that.
But they're always going to, Leslie. You know people twist shit on here.
And so until
Like I
people
said,
stop twisting their own narratives on things, and
yeah.
coming in and saying, and this is no offense to anyone that felt that way. I'm sorry that you felt that way, and I hope that Cassandra didn't feel that way. But this was about her being mad at Megan about,
Right. With nothing
she said
to
that
do with,
she lied on Skittles.
yeah.
It wasn't about anything that she had said in the past, other than she was mad that she had quote unquote lied on Skittles. So other people came in and tried to say that she dropped because it was about the racial thing, but it didn't even start out as that.
No, because I think I said to her, I'm just going to drop, and I don't think she wanted to, because I don't think she wanted to argue with me about Megan, just in general, maybe. And that's respectable too,
I
right?
agree,
Like,
Desi.
we're
I
each
agree.
allowed our own opinion on Megan, and um, I know she's put the work in because I've seen it myself.
And I'm not here to
So if
defend
people,
Megan. Megan has her
yeah,
own
well, I
mouth.
am.
Well,
No,
Megan has
Megan
her own
does. You're
mouth,
right.
but
Absolutely. Yes, she does.
people coming in here and trying to make it out to be one thing when that wasn't it at all today. That's
Yeah, we
part of the
weren't even,
problem as
well,
well.
I think what happened was it was the Latina comment. Latina came up and said something about, who was it that was, oh, was it Bougie that said? No. Yes, I think the Puta, or I don't even know if I'm saying it right. So I apologize for my pronunciation of it. And
Latina.
then remember she said that um Bougie that day was saying that, and then Spicy Bunny was saying you're making fun of my culture, and yeah.
But again, that had nothing
Then
to do with the Cassandra
I guess
situation.
Latina said no, and so I don't know how it got switched to that, to be honest. I don't know.
Loopy, I appreciate your words so very much.
Okay, it is okay saying Buddha. Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
I
Loopy, your
do.
words were incredible. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate
Can
you
I?
all letting me up. I do think that some of the conversation that like in the beginning that took this left, there were just some things that got lost in translation, and I also think
Right.
there were some people who they were trying to stick up for their friends. Um, like Imperfect, I don't think Imperfect intended to tell a person of color how they should feel because
Right.
that's no one can do that to us. But I think Imperfect was speaking out generally and saying it's never okay for a white person to use a slur, and we should
Yeah.
always stand up for that. It personally, I can only speak for myself, but
Hey, Lala.
as it goes for my friends and the people I associate with,
Hmm.
who are white, I have an expectation of them that if they hear some shit like
Hey,
that,
Stephanie.
they are going to hold those people accountable and address it with them. It is my expectation that I should not have to put in the work 100% of the time to address something that everybody should address.
Right.
And I also want to give some validity to um, outside of like slurs and things being used as far as race, there have been a lot of other comments and terms used recently that are terribly offensive to other people who are part of
Right.
other marginalized communities. Those things also should be called out just as much. And
Right.
nobody's feelings should be invalidated when they speak out about it. And one thing I want to say, I've said this a few times now, um, and I think it's really important when someone from a marginalized community chooses to use a term to reclaim it or whatever, um, that's their choice. And conversations about whether it's okay for them to use it, like the whole, well, why can they say it and I can't say it? People who are part of that community, those conversations about whether it's right, wrong, people's opinions on it, those can only, in my opinion, appropriately be held in that community between people who are
Right.
in that community. If you are not part of a community that has been subject to those kinds of words, um, you can say like I think that using those words are wrong, but you cannot tell people who are part of that community whether they can reclaim that word, because part of reclaiming that word gives people in those communities, some of them feel that it gives them some power back. um, and so I would encourage people not to overstep in that way. This whole debate over like, well, why can you say it, but I can't say it? I think the question is, have you had that word weaponized against you? Are you a person who is part of a community that historically has been discriminated against and have those terms used against you? That's something I really think people need to think about. Um, but anyway, I appreciate you all hearing me and listening. Um, Hopefully we can get this conversation back on track, because I think there's a lot of learning that people can have. And I think there, for some of this, there was just some clarification needed. There were people who came in here who maybe they misunderstood the context of some of what was happening, but they were coming from a place of defending their friends and trying to be good allies. And I will always support that, even if they need some clarification or there is something that needs to be corrected. Um, that they meant well, and that, you know, imperfect was speaking generally to, as a white person, I feel I should always correct it. Um, and I think Shady, they just had a misunderstanding of maybe how some of this started off. They were corrected, and and now we're getting back to a better place with the conversation. So sometimes we just got to talk through it and sort it out, and I think that's what's happening here. Um, so hopefully, like, people can walk away feeling a little bit better about it, because this is how these conversations should go.
Well, Loopy, you and I have had conversations before about the same situation, and I have always respected just your calmness, just your non-judgmental mental tone to me. I appreciate that more than you will ever know, and I am truly sorry that anybody misconstrued what the conversation was truly about this morning, because
Yeah.
I never would ever want to hurt anybody's feelings. Now, I'm gonna
No
say
way.
it loud and proud. If I make you mad, I make you mad. Okay, great. I'm gonna sleep tonight on my pillow just fine. But if I know I hurt someone or a community or anyone else, I don't sleep so good at night. And I don't like that. And I never want to hurt
Hmm.
anyone. Um, so I understand them coming and being allies and standing up for their friends. That's the problem with this app. Not everybody stands up for something. I'm not angry at anything that was said over here. I'm glad that it was, what's the word I'm looking, not even deciphered. I'm glad it was, what's the word I'm looking for? Sorted out,
Yeah,
because it was never in any way intentionally to be a jab at any race, any community, or anything else. Um, I said what I said. I mean, I can't take that back. I didn't call anyone those vile names. I was repeating. I pronounced the words. Um, I had to myself be educated, a BLM and ALM.
Oh, thank you for
hmm
the gifts.
yes,
And we've had that conversation before, and I always thought it was a certain way, one way, but it truly is not. And you're right. Until Black Lives Matter, no lives matter. Because if I say all lives matter, then if we're not still thinking that Black Lives Matter, then that's not all lives.
right. And
So,
I think there has to be an understanding that, like, I often see comments from people and just in general about how angry people from marginalized communities get in these conversations. And that is a righteous anger. Um, there's a lot of really bad shit happening right now in the world, and
Yeah.
communities are being targeted and people are being harmed. They are losing their lives.
Thank you, Skittles.
People have every right
Yeah.
to be angry about that. And in fact, it should not just be people who are part of that community who are angry about it.
Right.
Everyone should be angry about it. And so I think it's important to remember that if you perceive anger from people, like some of us just need to be heard because we don't feel heard in some of these conversations. And if you just allow people to express their thoughts and really make them feel heard and not come at them with defensiveness, that will help them feel more validated in their very valid feelings.
Shady, who tried to call you out for being?
That's what I was just gonna say. I'll just start muting people if that's the case, because that's
Maybe I
not
need to
right.
scroll back up. Let me see.
Can
I came back to
I
it
ask
now.
you something, Lucy?
Sure.
So you said that you're biracial, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so um now because my son is as well, he's having a real like he just turned 16 and he's always had a hard time like just fitting in
Hmm.
with different groups. Because some people say
Sorry.
he's not like dark enough, and then they'll say he's too whitey to be like it's so. Did you ever experience anything like that?
Yeah,
Like
I
when
mean,
you were in school?
I uh I didn't deal with like people making explicit comments to me, but I did generally feel and I know like biracial people kind of get made fun of for this sometimes, but the
Yeah,
whole concept of like not feeling like you fit in with either side sometimes,
yeah,
that's a very valid thing that biracial people go through. And what my parents raised me with, including my black father, and how I live my life is I go where I'm accepted. And
that's a good.
there,
That's amazing.
you
I
know,
love
there
that.
there are some people in the black community who don't think that biracial people count. That's their opinion. I go
Right.
where I'm accepted and where I feel safe. Uh, and I don't
Yeah.
limit that to any one group. I am very
Okay.
fortunate to have
That's
um,
fantastic advice.
yeah, and I'm really fortunate that I have friends from all walks of life who come from all
Mm-hmm.
different communities, and we are allies for one another, and I feel
Right.
accepted and loved, and that's where I go, and that's where I stay, and that's what I would, tell your son to keep in mind is go where
Yeah.
you are accepted.
Right. He identifies more as a black man than white he. So,
So,
And that's
um,
so,
how the world views him. That's how the world views him
yes,
is as a black
yes,
man, and that will be his
he's
experience
so
in this
cute.
world.
so Loopy,
Yeah.
I'm gonna disagree with you. Oh my gosh. Oh my, I don't want to debate. I don't want to debate. Oh my gosh. You say, oh gosh. You say go where you are accepted, right?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, oh, without telling too much of my personal information, I want my baby accepted everywhere, and I want her to own every room she walks in, every walks of this earth. So if they're uncomfortable with her being in a certain area, that's on them, not her. She still needs to hold her head up and be proud of her everything that she is. I don't
I
want her
agree with that.
I don't want her feeling like she can't go certain areas or, you know, again, as a privileged YT old big back woman, okay? I have not experienced being scared for my child to go out here and drive at night of what will happen. I have not experienced the dangers that the I have not experienced those for myself, okay?
Hmm.
But I'm trying to raise this child as if, and maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I'm just doing it completely wrong because I want her to be able to sit at every freaking table in the world and know that she is the queen that she is, no matter what her skin tone is, no matter what her sexual preference is, no matter what her IQ level is, no matter what anything there is about her. I want her as a human being to be able to do everything everybody else can do.
Well, I
I
agree
think
with
we
you on
want the
that.
same. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But it's the fucking ugly people out there that are going to try to change that with her. And that's where I was trying to get, like with Loopy, like what should he do? And I see what she's saying, because she's saying go where he's appreciated. It doesn't take away, because I think she's right in that aspect, because if you're around people that are more accepting of you, your self-esteem is going to get raised. You're going to feel good about yourself. But if you're around shitty people, I mean, it's only, I don't know. I get both sides of it.
Well, and I
I get
do.
both sides of
Leslie, to your point,
it.
there, just to give a little background about myself, I mean, my parents raised me to, um, no, it's not about shying away from certain spaces. Uh, just a little bit about myself. I grew up in a smaller town in a red state, in an especially red part of that state. Um, when I went to college, I went to a private school that was predominantly white. I did my thing there. I excelled regardless of the fact, like, nobody was going to
Hmm.
stop me or make me feel some type of way. Um, I
Yeah.
was going to be there. I was going to do my damn thing. And I did. And then I went to law school where I was still in a predominantly white space and knew that there were probably some people who were going to think that I was less capable because of what I looked like. Still did it, graduated, took the damn bar, passed it. I'm a licensed attorney. I have never shied away from the spaces that I needed to be in to do what I wanted to do in life, and I still don't. And my parents raised me to never shy away from being in spaces just because I was afraid that I would be treated a certain way. Um, but when it comes to like my personal life and who I choose to associate with, as far as friends and things like that, I go where I'm accepted. But I never let the possibility that someone is going to think less of me stop me from doing anything in life. And the lesson that my dad always taught me was, because sometimes growing up I would be kind of confused when I was a kid, like, why am I being treated this way? It doesn't make sense to me. And my dad would always tell me, Tara, you never forget what you look like. um, Never forget that people are going to view you a certain way because of how you look, and you should never let that stop you. You are going to do everything that you want to in life. You're going to accomplish everything you want to. There are going to be some people who don't like that because they don't think you deserve to be in that space. Um, if you want to be there and you have a goal, then you go in there and you fucking do it. So, what I'm speaking to as far as like going where you're accepted, I really mean that more in like a social way.
I got it. I
Um,
got it. I understand now.
but I've had to be in plenty of spaces where uh, I was one of a few, and I knew that people probably doubted my capabilities and treated me some type of way. And I kept my ass right there and did what I wanted and needed to do. And I've always kept it moving in life. I don't let anybody stop me. Like, you could never stop me, you know?
I'm sorry I cut you off earlier, by the way, Loopy.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I'm terrible at that, I have to say.
No. And
Because I
Joyce,
have a bit
you
of a
have your
delay.
lag too.
Yes. Desi's
Yeah.
like, let her finish. I love you to death, but stop cutting her off. I was like, oh shit.
No,
I'm
Leslie, I just wanted
sorry.
to say everything that you're doing is important and it matters because instilling that confidence builds, the shield that is going to be needed because it is a harsh reality that basically, we have to work twice as hard to get half as much, right? So we can be the most intelligent, most articulate person in the room, and it doesn't matter because of our background or what we look like, et cetera, et cetera. Like there are probably, I think 7% of like pharmacists in the US are black, identify as black, and most of them are black men. So there's not even a statistic
Wow.
for Black women, and that's something that I was able to accomplish, despite
That's wonderful,
like
Desi.
naysayers, despite all of the things. And it does sting to be doubted and to be told that you're not as good or you're not going to accomplish the things that you want to. But it is very powerful to go on to do those things. So shout out to you, Loopy. As being an attorney, I know that is difficult. I went to school for pre-law,
That's
actually.
fantastic,
Um,
ladies.
and even then, I was, told that I wasn't gonna go anywhere. And I
Wow.
switched lanes,
Oh,
but yeah, I'm happy where I am and with what I'm doing, and I'm proud of myself. And
you should be.
unfortunately, I'm still, in spaces where I'm not welcome, where I'm not appreciated, where I'm not valued. But I do what I do to help others and to be an example for, little girls and boys who also want to be in this profession. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
I've never experienced racism. Do you know what I mean when I say that?
Yeah, yeah.
I have
Right.
never experienced racism because I am a YT woman, okay? But I have witnessed it firsthand on a very personal level when people that I grew up with, or I see them in the grocery store, or people that I used to go to high school with, or, they're looking at me when I go in the store like, you can just tell, you can just tell that they have things going through their mind and stuff. And then when we took the baby on a cruise one time, I can't say that I've experienced it, but I know it's there now. I didn't know it was, I knew it was there from the news, from the, literature, from all that, but I had never witnessed it firsthand until we were blessed with the baby. And I'm trying to educate myself because the world is already against her for other reasons. And I'm trying to do the best I can do to educate myself, to learn things, to prepare her for this world. Because this world is ugly. This world is absolutely ugly. And if they can't see past what the color of her skin is or the texture of her hair to see that amazing, hold on, to see that amazing young lady that's probably going to lead our country one day, because she could already be a lawyer. Okay, let me just put that out there, because she argues better than any grown adult you ever want to meet. But that's so unfair, and I'm so sorry that anyone's children and anyone has ever had to go through that. I'm ignorant because I don't know about it. I'm learning. That's all I can say. I am trying to be a better ally to people. That's all I can say for myself. Did I say the N words? I did. In a Discord one night, I did. Only because someone had called someone that name. And someone asked what the difference was, and I pronounced the two words with an R at the end and an A at the end. Am I ashamed of that? At the time, I didn't see it was anything wrong with it. But because it hurt people, I held myself accountable for it. And if I hurt you by saying those words, I truly, from the bottom of my heart, I am truly so sorry, because I would never degrade anyone based on what they look like, where they come from, the dollars in their pocket, their traumas. I would never do that. And I am so sorry if I ever offended or hurt anyone by my actions.
Well, Leslie, I'm going to stop you there because that was your ignorance then, right? You're growing and you're learning every day. You're surrounding yourself with, people who can educate you on things that you may not even think of. So you are not ignorant now. And I really hate when people say, I'm sorry, because you're not a sorry person. You can apologize, you can be apologetic, but the word sorry just, I feel like it's a little bit self degradation. And I know that you feel bad, and I wouldn't sit with you and speak to you the way that I do, if I thought that you were a bad person or if I thought that you were racist. And I do, I'm aware of your situation, and where we, live and grew up, and it's not easy for people that look like me, um, or people in your situation. And so it's an everyday battle, and it's probably not going to get any easier as she gets older. But from everything that you say and everything that we've discussed, you are going above and beyond to make sure that she is loved, that she is confident, and that she is holding herself to high standards. And that's so important. Like, that's one of the most important things you can do, for a woman of color.
And I
Thank
would
Um,
you.
say you also came on here, Leslie, and you uh, publicly acknowledged it and addressed it and took accountability, which is a really important thing to do. Um, you didn't sweep it under the rug. You came on here and you owned it, and you've made a commitment to do better. And the truth is, at the end of the day, that may not be enough for some people, and that is um, their feelings are valid on that. But there are people who will recognize that you are doing the work and educating yourself, and that is, in my opinion, not worthless. That means something, because there are a lot of people out here who they don't care about doing the work. They are just purely defensive and will try to find every reason to justify what they said instead of just taking some accountability. Um, and I appreciate that you acknowledged it publicly and took responsibility, because there are a lot of people who don't do that. They just deflect.
Yes, you're right.
I appreciate y'all more than you will ever know. I'm going to actually end. I thank y'all so much.
Okay,
And again,
honey.
I'm so sorry for the
Thanks,
misunderstanding this
Leslie.
morning. Everyone's feelings are valid. My boxes are always open. Everybody always has a voice. I'm sorry if I love you too, Desi. I'm sorry if I made anybody feel any. I'm not sorry. Desi says I can't say I'm sorry. Um, I apologize if I made anyone feel any other sort of way. I'm not perfect on this app. I'm messy. I'm opinionated and I'm loud, but just get to know
You're a good
me.
person,
Get to
Leslie.
know me. Don't get to know what my former action was. Lukey,
Right.
and I appreciate you more than you know.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you giving a safe space for me to come say these things, and for other people, who are people of color, to be able to, be in here and um, express how they feel. And we got back where we needed to be, and this ended up being a really great conversation. And so
Mm-hmm.
um,
It was very
this
educational. Thank you.
yeah, this was such a valuable live, Leslie, and I appreciate you providing the space for this to happen.
And I don't know if Shady's still here, but Shady, I'm sorry that you felt that way. I'm sorry that anyone tried to quiet you in the comments. I really wasn't paying attention to the comments a lot. But I hope you know that you always have a voice here and your opinion is valid as well. Your feelings are very valid. I don't know who's friends with Shady. I don't think I ever had a conversation with them before, but can somebody just pass my message on?
I will be happy to.
All right, see y'all later.